Cryptozoology is a field where the truth, unfortunately, can get obscured pretty quickly. Outside of the usual hoaxes and people looking for attention by any means possible, there's another issue that's cropped up over the years, and that is fictional creations finding their way into the bestiary of these undiscovered creatures. Now in this video, you're going to hear me say the phrase, real cryptid. And just to be clear, I consider a real cryptid a potentially real undiscovered animal that was not initially created as a work of fiction. I do not personally believe in the Loch Ness Monster, but there is a history of people reporting sightings, and there are potential pieces of evidence for its existence. What I want to talk about in this video are purely fictional creatures who have found themselves categorized as cryptids over the years. The earliest example that I can find for this phenomenon came in 1908 from a fictional short story called The Monster of Partridge Creek. The story was written by a French author named Georges Dupuy, better known for his medical illustrations. The titular monster of Partridge Creek is a living dinosaur, a ceratosaurus to be precise, surviving and eating caribou in the Yukon. The story is published in a couple magazines, and due to the creature being presented as fact within the story, being an epistolary story in the format of a letter to Dupuy by the man who saw the beast. Similarly to how the Blair Witch Project presents itself as real footage recovered after the three filmmakers supposedly went missing. The story is actually one of the first writings to describe a dinosaur as having feathers, but despite a surprising level of paleontological accuracy, the tale itself is purely fictitious. The first instance I could find of this story being presented as a factual account was in 1922 by the New York Herald under the title "Prehistoric Monsters Still Haunts Arctic." If you search online, it won't be very difficult to find people still pushing the myth that the monster of Partridge Creek is a legitimate cryptid in the same vein as Bigfoot and the Jersey Devil. Sometimes even being pushed by some of the more seasoned cryptozoologists out there. This next guy is one of the first of these not cryptids that spread purely online, and that is the gangly ghoul known as Slenderman. Slenderman was created in 2009 as part of a Photoshop contest. As you can see, he's depicted as inhumanly tall, snow white with a perpetually worn three-piece suit, and no facial features to speak of. Although the character is technically copyrighted, so many fanworks have been created that there isn't really a definitive origin story for the creature, and many parts of his mythology vary from work to work. At some point over the years, people began to think that the Slenderman is some type of real entity. Interestingly, some of these believers allege that Slenderman was sighted in the 16th century in Germany, and he was called Der Grossmann, but the only records of these sightings that anyone can find are on sites about Slenderman. The last one of these not cryptids I want to talk about only sprung up in recent years, and that is Siren Head. This guy is portrayed as an emaciated, 40-foot-tall giant with a head that resembles a telephone pole. Siren Head is said to be capable of playing multiple noises, including air raid sirens, animal noises, and even mimicked human voices. He was created in 2018 by an artist named Trevor Henderson, keyword being created. Like Slenderman, Siren Head started out as something of an internet meme, and over time morphed into something else that certain people believe to be a genuine cryptid. If you dig around YouTube enough, you'll find plenty of videos presenting Siren Head as real, usually compilations of different content showing some pretty impressive CGI work, but nothing of flesh and blood. What's even more bizarre is that many of these compilations showing him are made up of videos that acknowledge him as fake, but are being treated as something akin to, say, the Patty film by the narrator of the compilations. Well, I hope you can come away from this video with a little more knowledge than you had before watching. Are there any other fictional beasts who found themselves categorized as cryptids? Let me know in the comment section below.